Welcome, everyone. This is the first one. We're going to hopefully do this every month. So if you're based here, you're in luck. Yeah, so here, of course, the first one, we have Comfy himself joining us. Say hi to everyone.
Hello. Hello.
All right. I love it. Love it. Cool. So we have a bunch of people here, all ComfyUI users, are really excited about Comfy. I wonder if we want to, since it's a pretty small group, maybe we can go around and introduce ourselves and then just our connections about Comfy and like your name and what you use Comfy for.
Sure.
Start over there.
I'll go first. Sure. I'm Jason. I'm building dial tone with Livepeer. And I have been using Comfy for at least a year now. And I use it for just about everything. A lot of image-to-image work.
Nice.
Cool. My name's Robert. I've used Comfy since like July 2023. A lot of text to image, but more recently doing stuff with large language models, some cloud stuff like the Meta 3.2 vision instruct model, playing with that in the cloud. We have a lot of good stuff with Comfy.
Nice.
I'm Zach. I walk dogs. I've been using Comfy obsessively for like the past year, just trying to learn, do everything, and make it art.
Awesome.
Nice.
I'm looking for to do something with it. In here, advice with all that.
All right. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Julian, also known as Annie. I am your Anarchy.
Oh yeah, I remember you from so long. Yeah.
Nice.
Hi, I'm DJ. I've been a filmmaker for a very long time and got into like AI image sharing stuff. And currently I'm studying NYU and these days I'm mostly interested in real-time AI graphics and animated workflows. I'm making a lot of AI films and experimental art and stuff.
Hey guys, I'm Timothy. I've been a filmmaker also for a long time. I'm also a founder, so I founded the first production studio called Lab. Recently, I moved on to a next venture. I'm also at NYU now, diving a lot into generative workflows. Right now, we're working on a infinitely generative film that's actually pre-scripted. Individuals contribute ideas all together because ideas are not the bottleneck of production.
Hello, everybody. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and I work in 3D as well. I work at a company called Looking Glass, for which I'm the community manager and like one of the artists behind making content. And I use Comfy for pretty much everything. I've been using it for like a year and a half, like some of you. And lately, I'm really interested in the live aspect of things. And so naturally, with a holographic display, it's amazing to have the power to generate endless amounts of content and using depth maps and such, both in real time and offline. So if you're interested in like getting to meet people that are also so into this, because all my friends and coworkers are just tired of hearing me talk about here's kind of in the space.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Doug. I work on a live video streaming platform, and so I'm really interested in real-time AI video, Comfy Stream library, and see what workflows can be put with that.
Some live peers.
I'm Jimmy. I'm an immersive developer designer, coming from Touch Designer and Unreal Engine. I'm like 2 months into Comfy, but really interested in real-time and 3D applications.
Cool. Hey everyone, my name is Yandin. Previously, I started last year with Doug and Eric, and I've been working on various like real-time related workflows in the Java space with Touch Designer previously, and then more recently within the Comfy ecosystem, and built this small tool called Comfy Stream recently, where the general idea was, can we take Comfy workflows using the existing custom node ecosystem and have it be a drop-in experience to basically use that as a customizable video filter for live videos without any additional intervention. So that's something that I have.
Hey guys, I'm Grace. I'm an investor here at Pace New York Building. Obsessed with following them for a really long time. And yeah, I like spend a decent amount of time with people like mine holds a lot of like more artist types, and then some people who are building experiences and vision psychological experiences.
Cool.
Nice.
I'm Ori, doing a bunch of Comfy and Warp Fusion and a bunch of animation stuff, but also streaming fusion design stuff, trying to do a bunch of immersive things and working for a bunch of different marketing and Meetup. Yeah, just excited for all of it.
You want to introduce yourself? We're all going around introducing ourselves. Your name, what you've been using Comfy for.
Yeah, sure. I'm Logan. Nice to meet you all. I run in a small AI startup where we build kind of cool digital creatures for young people to learn. And we're using ComfyUI to generate new evolutions and new animations for the young people. The idea is like your skills and your personality go into determining what the creature looks like. We bring it alive and we give it to you on multiple surfaces.
Nice. Welcome, everyone. My name is Eric, and I've been using Comfy for like around 6 months. I'm still fairly new to the space, but I've been building video streaming software for a long time and using AI. So once I found Comfy, I'm like, okay, this is a tool for me. So I've been pretty obsessed. And then we have, of course, probably he needs no introduction, ComfyAnonymous. And
Hello.
and maybe, do you want to just do a quick introduction of yourself? And maybe since everyone already knows you, you can tell us a story about your favorite story of ComfyUI in the early days.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Originally, ComfyUI was more supposed to be like a backend for something like I was thinking of maybe making some animating the thing with AI, and ComfyUI was supposed to be the backend. That's why it was in the beginning. It was designed the way it is, but then it became a bit too popular, so I just continued developing it as a ComfyUI instead of making something on top of it. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe making some like visual novel type thing where you like things would be generated with AI with like image. I was thinking of maybe adding like text generation, but I just never really had time to do that. So yeah, since the focus was like just because I don't even have time to implement everything that's coming out for image generation, and now there's video generation. And yeah, thankfully there's a lot of people, a lot of great developers that are developing custom nodes, and that's how ComfyUI actually manages to be on top of most new things that come out, is because of the custom node developers and the community that contributes. So yeah.
Nice. Great answer. In June this year, you wrote this blog post about you were leaving Stability AI and you're starting Comfy.org. So it's been about 6 months since you made that decision and took that leap. What's been that 6 months like? What's been expected and what's been surprising from your experience?
The great thing is that now, since when I was at Stability, there was only really one person that was helping me at ComfyUI. So I was pretty much all alone to work on the project. So other than that one person, you probably know him as a Python goes. If you follow the ComfyUI project a bit, he's very good at what he does, but he was only helping part-time. So it was, yeah, things were not advancing as quickly as I wanted. And the main reason I left Stability, one of the main reasons, is because some people, which is Yolan and Robin, my co-founders, they came to me and they say, oh, we have this funding and we're gonna put it all into ComfyUI. So I'm like, that sounds like a good idea to me. So I joined them, and there's a lot more development going on so if you probably notice how much the interface has improved. So yeah, there's so now where hopefully we can. The goal is basically to like by creating a business, we can actually make money and then put that into ComfyUI to make it grow even better. So that's the problem with if you have an open source project that doesn't, there's no revenue because paying people to develop it costs a lot of money. So you need, yeah, the only way open source projects I think can be successful is when there's some kind of, like for Linux, for example, there's a lot of people that make money with that and that give back to the foundation. But for something like Comfy, I think it's more appropriate to have an actual company backing it, which is that we can actually make money and then continue developing and create just a sustainable project and business in that way. And the way we're thinking of making money is it's not going to conflict at all with the current state of the project, which is I want it to be like we're going to keep it like the best free open source local experience, but we might have some services for enterprises, for example, that their needs are a bit different from the typical Comfy user, which just wants to run and play around with the models really well in their local machine. Like, yeah, that's not going to change. But yeah, and you can see there's all these companies popping up that are making money on top of ComfyUI. So we want to, we're going to do a bit the same things. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I agree, definitely. Having an open source project is a lot of work, speaking from someone who has been building an open source project for the past 9 years. And yeah, having a business model that brings in revenue and keep it going is the most important thing. Otherwise, the open source project does not continue. I'm really glad to hear that you guys are starting this. And I think it also gives a lot of confidence to the community, right? Because people are devoting a lot of their time and effort in learning how to use this tool and investing in it. And even companies are starting around this ecosystem, investing in it. So knowing that there is a core group that has longer term financial sustainability is a really important thing for the longevity of this project.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talking about Comfy, I was checking GitHub the other day, and Comfy is like one of the top 200 repos on GitHub. And if you take away some of the top 100 repos, which is like how to become a programmer or like these repos that are not really code bases, like I'd say it's very close to the top 100. There's been just tremendous growth for this tool, even for something that was pretty hard to learn for a non-expert. It almost feels like the growth was from day one. And so what's been that experience for you, like building this tool?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun to have a project that's used by a lot of people. The growth wasn't really from day one. I think that what really started the growth was the release of SDXL, since I was working at Stability at the time, and I managed to make it work very well on release because I have had earlier access to the model. And so for many people, especially those who had low-end hardware, it was really the only way they could actually run the new model. So that forced a lot of people to learn it, which I think is something which maybe because I don't think other projects have really had this like real incentive to learn this hard to use interface, because that's the only way you can actually run the model on your old GPUs. So it's really, I think that's one of the things initially that got people to actually try it. And then it's just been, because for many open source projects, I feel it's hard to get that initial user base. Because for something like ComfyUI, if you don't have all the community making custom nodes and such, there's not much reason to actually use it if you don't have the whole community. Because that's really the thing that ComfyUI has over the like all the other projects. It's the massive community that develops things for it and that continues to add things. Basically, what I try to do is I try to keep the core like as I try to make it easy for people to add new custom nodes extensions, but I support all the core models. I want people to be able to try all kinds of crazy things. And that's how, because if all the crazy things happen on ComfyUI, then that's makes the ecosystem grow because that's the only place other people can try those. So, yeah.
That's awesome. You talk about what you see your role is, which is maintaining the core of ComfyUI.
Yeah.
So other people can build extensions. Do you see that being the role of the Comfy.org core team at this point?
Yeah, the goal is to have a place for the core library itself. The goal is just to have a solid base that people can just add extensions to. Some recent thing that was added to core is a bunch of model patcher changes, which was written by the co-syncadink, the author of the animate diff extension, to make his life easier and to make maintaining his extension a lot easier for him. So hopefully that also makes like other people's life easier if once they adapt to the change, if they want to make the same type of custom node that hook deep in model code like animate diff does. And he also has a few other extensions that like an advanced control net. So these types of extensions should now be a lot easier, at least to maintain. So I think that's what I want to keep, like core be a solid base for that people can build their custom nodes and basically do experiment, do what they want. And something that's important, I want ComfyUI to always be the best way to run the open models locally. That's how I want it to be in the future. Just continue being the best way to run these models on your own hardware.
Awesome. I'm going to ask one more question for you before we open up to the audience to see if people have any questions. And my last question for you is, what's your hope for ComfyUI in the next 8 to 12 months? What do you want to see in the community or in the project itself?
What I want is there's a lot of interesting things that I see on the horizon. Like we're seeing right now video models. So I want maybe better support for playing around for using video models. I feel like there's a lot of maybe a lot of things to experiment maybe on the user experience side, the interface side for how to best use these video models that we might try. And there's also, because I feel like ComfyUI is always going to be like the node interface that's always going to be there, but there might be some things we can do to make certain things a lot easier. For example, one thing that I've seen there's a total of I think 3 papers now on ways to generate ComfyUI workflows with an LLM. So maybe we could have, depending on what comes out, maybe not something that fully generates ComfyUI workflows, but some kind of smart auto-completion for workflows or something along those lines. It's not something like I personally have time to look at, but if there's something good that we see, we might integrate it, because I feel like the future for ComfyUI is to try to make things easier for the users, but I don't want to make the interface too easy or not as powerful. So that's what on the interface side, we're trying to make it easier without making it less powerful. But we also, there's also a few things in the future want to in core what I want to add is also a way to more. I'm looking at training right now, so there might maybe in soonish there'll be some experimental Comfy trainer, which will be the trainer equivalent of ComfyUI, but that's still being worked on. So yeah, there's a few things. Like the problem is with AI, I'm not sure what's going to come out in 1 month, so it's hard to plan. So some new model might come out that changes everything, and then well, we'll have to adapt. But that's the great thing about how ComfyUI is designed. It's easy to adapt it to whatever comes out. So
Nice. Thank you. And with that being said, I want to turn it to the audience. We have a small group of people here and a lot of enthusiasts. So if you guys have any questions for Comfy, this is your chance.
So based on what he was just saying, what you were just saying, is there a good data set available that you recommend for fine-tuning a model on video workflow creation?
there's a few websites that have ComfyUI workflows. So you could download workflows from one of those. We don't really have the resources to work on something like that because there's some more important problems to solve. Fix all the issues on the desktop, for example. Maybe try add some sandboxing to the desktop to prevent any potential security issues, not just with custom nodes, but with Python packages. Because I don't know if you've seen recently the Ultralytics issue. They had a crypto coin miner injected in their package. So not a ComfyUI specific problem, but it's still something we potentially want to protect people against to the best of our ability. So yeah, we have there's a lot of different things we have to solve before trying to like tackle like LLM generating workflows.
Cool. Any other questions? All right. We're going to go this way.
Hey, Comfy, it's Rob. Wondering, can we get you to come to the next meetup in a month? And two-part question: do you think we should push to the desktop version yet?
Desktop version, you can try it, but we're still working on it. It should be a decent experience by now, but it's still not stable. So if you want to help us test things out, you can try it out. If you want the best final experience, maybe wait a bit until we release it as stable.
All right, go this way.
Is there a sense for what portion of ComfyUI published workflows / nodes are malicious, or like what's the bad actor?
It's not the workflows that are malicious, because I don't think I've seen any actual malicious workflows. What we've seen is more like there was one incident where a bad actor published a custom node which had malicious code. The recent situation is the Python package Ultralytics, which had a crypto miner put inside it. So those are the main issues I see, because there is potential for malicious workflows, but it's not the workflow itself that's might be malicious. The workflow combined with custom nodes. For example, if you have a custom node that can execute Python code, and then the workflow contains bad Python code and then pulls in. So this is not a node you would find in core ComfyUI, but yeah, it's something we're trying to slowly stamp out, but it's a process. We're trying to limit like evals and custom nodes that just take arbitrary input and just eval it. We're trying to put a stop to that, but it's not easy to do. And there's probably a bunch of so I think the best solution is for the end users probably if we have proper sandboxing, then at least if there's something malicious, it's limited to the ComfyUI instance, and then the user could just delete it and reinstall it, and it the threat is gone. So
we're gonna move on just because there's lots of questions. Go ahead.
What's your favorite custom node?
Good one. What's your favorite?
my favorite custom. I don't really have a favorite. There's lots of interesting ones. Well, one interesting one was the ones that put video games. You can play a video game in ComfyUI.
Ryan made Doom node recently. Right?
Oh,
that was a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next, other question. Yeah.
Sort of had the same question, but I think it's really interesting to see laser focused on building the ecosystem, empowering the builders rather than specific use cases and UIs. What sort of new use cases do you see Comfy will really empower the next couple of years? Where do you see the trend of what do you see people are building now that's really popping
That people might not be aware of?
I see there's the things I find cool as people who plug in Comfy to external software like the Krita plugin, for example, because we're not, for us at least for Core Comfy, we're not going to turn it into a drawing software most likely. If you have something like Krita, which is open source, it's great. They already did the difficult work of making a very good drawing software. So having just ComfyUI plug into that, I think that's the way to go. Just plug in Comfy to software that already exists for specific use cases like Blender, Krita, maybe Photoshop, and all these other softwares. I think there's some projects for all of them. The best ones for there's a Krita plugin, there's a Blender plugin that I hear is pretty good, and probably a bunch of others that I don't remember. But,
Nice.
I'm a big fan of the Blender plugin. This is Arturo speaking. Firstly, thanks for your time and thanks for everyone for hanging out. These questions, I have a bunch of questions, but the one I'll choose is a do-over to start something fresh again and maybe change the way that you went about implementing a specific feature into Comfy. What would you change or do with hindsight being 2020?
yeah, there's a few things I would change, like some of the structures and that the nodes communicate to each other, like the conditioning, for example. The structure is a bit weird. I might have combined the positive and negative conditionings into just one conditioning, because it would have made a few things a bit easier. Just seeing, instead of positive and negative, just having one conditioning and then setting positive and negative to that might have been easier to deal with, because you've probably seen there's a few nodes that have like positive and negative both, and then the input and output positive and negative. So there's a few things that I would have changed that right now I cannot change because it would break everything. It's not but a big problem. It's just a few of the things would have been more elegant. So
That's pretty damn amazing now. Thanks.
Ever.
I think earlier you were talking a little bit about enterprise. I'm curious what you've learned from seeing Comfy get used in enterprises so far.
The enterprise, they all have a bunch of needs, but depending on which enterprise, some of them, they want to run it like, they're like, okay, we just want to run it ourselves, because they want to control everything, basically. So there's those that just want better collaboration. What they all want is, I think, a better custom node ecosystem that's better managed, which is something we're working on improving.
Have you played at all with the AnyNode project? And is there a thought or intention to integrate something like that as a core sandbox to be able to create nodes using an LLM?
Any node. Okay, that's the one that you can create nodes with. Okay, yeah, that might be. I'm not sure it would require us to have LLMs in core, which is maybe something we'll have eventually, but it's more lower priority compared to all the video models coming out. Video models is higher priority than language models. If we ever get proper LLM support in core, then that makes, then a node that you can, like any node might make sense, but yeah. So.
That's one last question.
Sorry, yeah. I remember one of my first questions, which was, I'm a huge Blender user, and I think that the Blender Foundation's model of allowing people to support different tiers, like companies and enterprise for funding, as well as just allowing people to have a Blender Studio subscription for $20 a month that goes to the dev fund, is a good model that seems to be working for them. Is there actively some form of similar funding structure for Comfy that we could make noise about, or is that something that's kind of in the works, as you were mentioning?
No, right now we're a company with VC funding, so it wouldn't make sense for us to accept donations. We're not sure what's going to happen in the future, but at least right now it just doesn't make sense for us to accept donations. Since we're only like a real like for-profit company, to accept donations, we'd have to have a non-profit, which might happen if you see PyTorch or all these other projects, they have the non-profit. I won't promise anything, but we'll see how things go. Right now, the reason we're for-profit is because we want things to go fast, basically. The issue with like the non-profit model is if we can't, I feel like it can't really go fast enough, because we need a lot of money now to develop things now. It's not normal open source projects. It doesn't really matter if things take like years to ramp up. But for us, since the AI is going so fast, and we have to be on top of everything, so it's a bit, takes, yeah.
Cool. All right. On that note, Comfy, thank you so much for spending time with us, and we'll be organizing the next one.
Okay.